on our list, if you remember what I said in the Frankenstein review, that one of the people that everyone wanted to play Frankenstein was Bela Lugosi, you might be wondering, who is Bela Lugosi? What's the point? Who is he? I never want him to play this green monster. Well, that's all due to this one little movie that was made in 1931 when the rise of the talkies were around, and you might be wondering, oh yeah, it's Dracula and everyone loves it. I have to admit, this is a very, very early movie. Like, they just came out with movies that actually talk. Not 5 years before this movie was even in conception. The talkies were on the rise. And this was one of the first horror movies to include sound. Because it's one of the first horror movies to have sound, Boris Karloff pretty much defined everything there is to know about modern day media spanning Dracula. From the way he looks, to the way he moves, to the sound of his voice.
I am Dracula.
The way Boris learned English was just for the roles he was playing in America. Originally he was from Hungary. To have a really, really thick accent laid over this was kind of different for the time, especially since this was one of the first talkies. Again, me and my crazy warped way of liking characters, I guess. I love this guy. This one guy, I don't really know his name, or could I remember it? I'm just going to put it right down here and right there. There you go. This guy is great. He's got that weird kind of laugh to him that's just really, really hilarious. I don't know. The reason why I love this movie is because this movie defined Dracula, from the way he talked to this weird shot with the eyes and all that. It's got it all. It's got the sex appeal. It's got the swaying of the cape and all that. Really, really dedicated to this character. In fact, he was with the cape. So that's how awesome he was with this role. That's how attached he was. And overall, the whole filmmaking aspect of this movie is fairly well done. Especially for the times, I guess. I mean, does it define anything? Not really. The effects aren't really that great, but that's not really what this movie was going for. What this movie was going for was the acting ability of the stars, I guess. It's really a character study of Dracula and his role in Transylvania, I guess. But one good piece of editing that really needs to be highlighted for this movie is that a lot of it doesn't have any music whatsoever. But the quietness of it and the lack of music kind of adds the suspense to it a little bit. You know, in most horror movies nowadays, it's just kind of, we're used to having all this music kind of tell us what to feel and all that, especially with the chung, indicating that there's a scare and we should be scared, even though like 80% to 90% of the time it's fake. But this is very disturbing, even for today, which is kind of a critique on how horror movies are made today. Overall, this movie is very well done. Really encapsulates the fact of Dracula, defined Dracula as a mainstream character, and adds an overall creepiness that is kind of missing in today's horror movies. Well, most of them at least.